some members from our senior class. So I'm going to invite those members to come to the front now and take their seats. You can share these mics around, so I'll give. Y'all can share this on this side.
Let's give it up for our senior class. Woo, woo, woo. You only have a few more months of being that, because pretty soon you're about to be freshmen. So enjoy it while you
That's
can.
right.
You know.
How do you feel about that?
I'm getting old. Ancient.
So are you all ready for our first question? Most
Yes.
esteemed senior, share with us your wisdom from your years of high school experience. We're excited to hear it. So the first question we got for you is, what advice would you give to your freshman self?
It doesn't really matter what you're wearing that much as long as it's within dress code. But it really just dress what makes you happy. And if that's baggy clothes, it's baggy clothes. If that's not baggy clothes, it's not baggy clothes. Because people might judge you for what you wear, but judge them back.
All right, so just judge people back when they judge you. Got it. Go ahead.
Is it on? Okay. I think probably one of the most important things I would tell my freshman self is do your homework on time. Don't get missing work. I know you hear it like all the time, but it's like one of the most important things to just passing your classes, guys, is just do it when it's assigned and your life will be so much easier.
Yeah, I think the advice I give my freshman self is the same advice my mom always told me that I always ignored, and that was get involved. She told me that over and over and over again for years and years and years. I always ignored it, put it aside, said I didn't want to do it. I wish I had, because I didn't get involved really until my junior year, and I missed 2 years worth of campus ministries, ASB, all that stuff that I could have done. But get involved is probably the number one piece of advice I give myself my freshman year. If I could have 2 more years of this, I would love that.
Can we turn on Josh's mic?
Nope.
There we go. Try it. Here.
All right, this one's on. Can you hear me? All right. My advice would be to keep your friends, like keep your core friendships and your friend groups, and then get other people involved also that are not your friends, because not only will they might end up being your friends, but it also like help them to get out their comfort zone and like go and like get involved and do things like Peyton said, to not like miss out on all the fun activities and whatnot. So keep your friends and like keep your core friendships and involve other people in what you're doing so they can do the same to other people.
So just going through the years, as sophomore, junior, and senior, I think what we learned in Bible class, yesterday, really helps, but maximizing your singleness. Maximizing that time that you get to spend not only with yourself, but with God, making sure that you have that relationship with God, but you also know who you are before stepping into that relationship and exposing yourself to the other significant other. Yeah.
I guess I have 2 things. First one is don't sell yourself short, because you won't know what you're able to do unless you actually try. So like Peyton was saying, get involved with stuff, or at least try to, because you'll grow to understand a lot more about yourself when you start entering extracurricular activities, because you'll find out what you enjoy and you'll find out what exactly you want to work towards. And the second thing is get to know God, and don't wait until Bible class to do that, because this is an Adventist school, and just because it's an Adventist school, I'm not saying, oh, you're here, you have to read the Bible, you have to know God. I'm saying it enhances your experience here, because you see everything in that new perspective of like, oh, so this is why I'm here, this is why this happens, because God wants me to be here. And when you have that relationship with God, the things you learn in Bible class become all that more important, all that more reliable. And if you're not selling yourself short, then you're able to put yourself in a lot more position to do good things for both your school, your class, and your friends.
Prioritize yourself as much as you're prioritizing your schoolwork. Have fun, embarrass yourself, do a little dance, do what makes you happy. Because you can't just be work, work, work all the time. You can't just be stressing about everything you need to get done. Stress yourself out about, a video game. Have a little bit of fun mixed in there. Otherwise, you're just going to burn yourself out and you're going to want to cry all the time. Or at least more.
Okay, so I will say be friendly and start to talk as much people as you can. Because for me, I kind of regret I didn't talk to my classmates a lot. So, I want to know more. And it's really interesting if you guys start a conversation and you know more about this person. And because, after 4 years, especially after senior years, you don't know whether you can still see this person in the future. So, yeah.
Nice. These are great. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one. And Pastor Eddie, I think I'm going to combine the next one with the motivation one, because they kind of connect.
Absolutely.
Because some people might not know what senioritis is. Like there's jokes about senioritis. The seniors know what senioritis is. So the question is, and I'm going to piggyback it with the motivation question. So these are the two questions. How do you deal with senioritis / how do you stay motivated when you don't feel motivated?
All right, so for the motivated one, this is something that Mrs. Williams used to tell me because, as many of the teachers here know, I was not a motivated student up until about this year. So what she told me is if you're always waiting for motivation, it's never going to come. If you're not actively looking for motivation, you're not going to find it, because you're sitting there and letting yourself think, oh, eventually it'll come. And if you keep waiting and waiting for it, you'll get used to waiting, and you won't get used to doing. So when you get used to doing, that's when things get easier. That's when motivation comes faster, because you actually know how to do what you need to do. And for the senioritis thing, if you're already doing what you need to be doing, like throughout your high school career, then the senioritis isn't going to hit as much, because you already know that you're on top of things. Yeah.
For me, how I deal with senioritis is just try not to let it creep up on me as much as, But I didn't realize this as much until about sophomore year, well, halfway through sophomore year at least, but no one's gonna motivate me nearly as much as myself. And what helped me a lot was just to figure out what exactly I want to do in life, and that sounds like, oh, lofty goals or whatever, but just it motivates me to just do my schoolwork. I want to get into a good college to become a psychiatrist so I can help other people do that, and that's what I think my life calling is. So filling out English assignment number 278 or calculus problem number 63. Sorry, Mr. Villar, but it just becomes a lot easier if I just take a step back and look at the bigger picture and think, right now it kind of sucks, at least for this problem. 63 kind of sucks, but I just look at the big picture. That helps me at least.
I know for me, I've really been struggling with senioritis this whole year. My sophomore girls know this. But one thing that's really helped me is actually counting down the days until graduation, which I know sounds counterproductive, but I think today is 110 days. 110 days. And so every time I look at that, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so long. I don't want to have to do this for another 110 days. But then I think, I've been here for the last 4 years. I have worked so hard over the last 4 years to get to June 5th of my senior year. And so in order to get through that, on the days I just really don't want to, I lock my phone. I have this app that allows me to not use it for 25 minutes, and I just work on one assignment. If I can just get one thing out of the way, one thing off of my to-do list, then I've made progress. And on the days where it's really, really hard, then I just do that one. But if I get through that assignment, I'm like, oh, that wasn't too bad, I just do another. It's just very tiny steps. Only do what you can. And if it's only one, then only do one. But if you find that you can do more, do more. But yeah.
Senioritis, it's kind of hard, you know, because when you've been with your class for 3 years and you make a whole bunch of memories, and you know you fool around for 2 years, and you get to know you people in your class, and then it's kind of hard because then you have to see these people go, and then if you don't go to college with them, then you might not see them ever, or so that's why it's important to keep your friendships close, or keep your friends close, because if you don't, you'll lose them, and that'd be hard. Motivation, I mean, we all struggle with motivation, you know. We sit down, do our homework, do one problem, and then we're done because we don't want to do the rest of it. I mean, we rather do other things, but motivation comes in different ways. I mean, if doing one problem from each assignment and switching off every time helps you get through the assignment, then do that. Or blast music or whatever. As long as it's not, well, I did this and now I'm done, so I'm going to go over there and do that for 35 minutes and then come back and not do the rest of it because, you know, you don't want to. But your teachers will help you. I mean, you hear it all the time. Your teachers are always there. They wouldn't not help you. I mean, I would hope they would help you, but
I hope so too.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Villar would definitely want to help you. I mean, for a lot of people who don't like math, but it's just a thing where you have to. I mean, even if studying in a friend group helps, like as long as it's something that you can keep your mind moving and your brain working to at least get half your assignment done by the time that you really need it to be, then you'll be okay. And then always turn it in on time, because if not, they'll hurt you. So yeah.
I actually, I agree with Josh. What I found, if I'm struggling with motivation or senioritis, is to, set a time where I'm going to do this one assignment, and then I'm going to balance it out by maybe, watching one episode. And then I'm going to go back and do my next assignment, and then watch the next episode. So it's kind of you get to balance a little bit between your work and, still having fun, so you're not just feeling like you're having to do your homework. And I found that really helps with, a lack of motivation.
Yeah, I kind of got some advice for the not seniors. I know we've had a lot of what we can do now that we're in it, but this is a preventative measure. What I have found that has helped me a lot is senioritis has come hard in the last couple months. Get stuff out of the way beforehand. So in the first 3 years, I worked really, really hard so that this year could be easier for me. And because academically this year I'm not working as hard, I'm able to focus on friends, able to focus on extracurriculars, able to focus on the things that I'm really enjoying. And although senioritis has hit me really hard, I am loving every minute of it because I'm enjoying these last couple months of high school where I get to focus on the things I actually want to focus on. So get the hard stuff out of the way your first 3 years so that your senior year can be really easy. It will be worth it.
I can definitely agree with Peyton on that. For me, I was able to get all my English done first semester, and it's been amazing. I have 3 free periods, and I'm just able to sit and relax and not really struggle with school because I'm able to hang out with friends, and it's been amazing. What we're trying to push and say is you have to motivate yourself. If you want motivation, you have to push for it. Yes, it's not going to happen all the time, but make sure that you get it done. Yes, it's going to be hard and it's going to be tough, but if you make it through it, you get to just sit back and relax the rest of the way. Ultimately, make sure you're also taking time to relax, though. If you're stressing out over a homework assignment, sit back, take a nap, do something that's going to re-energize you and distract you off of that so that you can come back to it with an open and clear mind.
Some good advice. Go ahead.
How I deal with senioritis is definitely just cherishing those moments with your friends. Because when you're a senior, this is your last year in high school. After this, everything changes. Some of us may go to college, some of us may take a gap year or go to trade school, and we're all going to be going different places all around and who knows where. So we're probably not going to see each other unless we end up at the same college, and even then we're going to be taking different classes because we're all probably going for different degrees and things. And then life gets busy, and then you get a job, and then you get married, and then you have a whole life, and you lose touch with these people usually. So it's just like appreciating these moments that we do have with these people, because this is the last time that like we're really gonna have that concentrated amount of time with them.
I like that, savoring every moment.
And part of the thing with handling senioritis is it has to be a lot of balance, because you can't motivate yourself if the only thing you're trying to do is motivate yourself to do work. And if getting your work done is switching off what you're doing, if getting your work done is waiting until you're home rather than a study period to set an environment, then that's how you do that. Just as long as you're having a balance of getting your stuff done, but also taking time to take care of yourself and manage your relationships with the people around you and your relationships with yourself, then you will be a lot better. Spend your first 2 or 3 years getting to know yourself and how you best work, and then apply that as hard as you can.
Good answer, seniors. We're going to move on to the next question. So the next question is, what is the craziest thing you've done on the Auburn campus? All right, teachers, administrators, we're going to need you to step out the room for a moment.
So I'm an ornery child, and I like going outside, but I don't always like sitting on the ground outside. So we went for Bible class, we went to Inspiration Point, and me, being the ornery little child I am, brought a whole desk with me. I carried it from Pastor Crystalline's room all the way to Inspiration Point, used it for that class period, and then carried it all the way back and got it stuck on my neck.
You do you.
You do you.
When Pastor Eddie asked this question before the panel, my first thought was, man, I'm very boring. Because genuinely, the craziest thing I could think of was like unloading all the stuff from the freezer the first day of freshman year because it broke. And so our entire Bible class had to go do that for a class period. But I think it kind of like, because I've had a really, really, really good high school experience, even if it's been kind of boring shenanigans-wise, and they're fun. There's nothing against them. But also, if you're kind of like to that point and you're feeling like, man, I haven't done anything really crazy in like my teenage years, I feel like it's okay to not have, if you're just not that type of person, you're not that type of person, I guess.
On that note, here's something I did that was crazy. I think it was sophomore year or freshman year. Sophomore year, we were doing Sound of Music for the school musical, and our dressing rooms were like the rock wall area in the gym, and they had this like hanging rope that had like a knot at the bottom, and I was like, oh, that'll be fun. And so I like put my foot into like the knot, and I was like swinging on the rope, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll just jump off of this ledge, and, like swing, and it'll be a little Tarzan moment. And all of my friends were like, no, Jamie, don't do it. And so I did it. And obviously it didn't go well, and I ended up like ramming my like whole body into the wall, and I like slammed my hand, and I had like little like cuts on my hand. But it was fun. And then, yeah, and that we actually got it on video. It was just this whole disaster. No. And yeah, that was the craziest thing I've ever done. It was fun. Have fun, guys, but try not to get hurt, please, because it hurt.
We should show that at our next chapel, the video. You know, one of my favorite teachers is senior slash yeah. One of my favorite teachers, Jamie, is Natural Consequences. It's literally the best teacher.
So I think one of the craziest things I've done, because I'm sure there are more, but I can't remember them right now, is one day I needed to get into a study hall, and the teacher, Mr. Villar, was not in the room, and the room was locked. So I walked around the building. Okay, what can I do? Is he anywhere? And as I was walking past the ad building, out of the corner of my eye, I see an open window into Mr. Villar's room. So I took a quick look at it. You know, I got the dimensions in my head, and I said, I could fit. So fast forward 10 minutes later of me psyching myself up to do it, I go to the window, and I get halfway inside, and I get stuck. And eventually I got out, but one thing that I do want to mention, this was my freshman year, and it actually wasn't me, but it's something that I really want to bring up because I don't know if after this year it's ever going to be brought up again. But my freshman year, Amy and I were in Sylvan, and Sylvan went to Carnegie Hall in New York. And one of the days when we were traveling, we were trying to get on a subway. And some of us were running late. And I see Mr. Fackenthal go up to the closing subway doors. He grabs the doors and he starts holding them open with all of his principal might. We ended up getting in trouble with the subway, but that was probably my favorite moment of freshman year.
So on the topic of windows, so in the library, they put in these new nice, the windows with the twisty handle, you know what I'm saying? So, me being the crazy junior, was it our junior year they put those in? Or was it our summer? It was the junior year? So.
Probably senior year.
All right, anyway, I had the bright idea, I was just feeling a little bit wild, a little bit dangerous, and I decided I would jump out the window. So, I grab a chair, I trying to go out the window without a chair, right? Because I think I got hops, but I really don't. So the first time I try, I jump, but I hit the wall. I don't get even close to out the window, right? So then I grab a chair. So you're by the girls' dorm, right? You're watching the library, you're just watching, out there, and all you see is a 5'6" child jumping out the window and then running around and doing it 3 times. Why? If you ask me this question, why, I will tell you, I don't know. I just saw the opportunity to jump out a window, and I took it. There was no teachers, right? No one was in the office, right? No one was in the library. I was like, you know what? Why not? So yeah, and I almost broke my leg too, because I felt weird. But that don't faze me.
Natural consequences. So Josh, Jamie, Joel, if you could meet with us in Mr. Fackenthal's office afterwards, just briefly, shouldn't take too long.
He's joking, by the way.
Okay, so freshman year, I worked in the cafeteria, and if you've ever seen the back of it by the garbage can, you know that that there's that concrete ramp thing that kind of goes up. So from the ground to the top of that, it's not terribly far. And so I was there with somebody I was interested in at the time. Never try and impress someone you're interested in because they will not care. So I was like, okay, I'm going to be really cool. I'm going to jump from the bottom up to the thing without using my hands and just look really cool. Well, I tried to do that, and I don't remember if I had shorts on or what, but I scraped my legs right here pretty bad and had to sit down in the caf for most of my shift, actually, because my legs were now red and gross, and I hurt a lot. I feel like there's some, oh yeah. And then another one, again, don't try and impress people you're interested in. And don't try and take their classes with them. I didn't have an 8th period class, so I would sit in the same class every single day that I didn't take and attempt to do the work because why not? Because one of my friends was in there, so it was certainly a time. I think I would have failed the class if I was actually graded on that work.
All right, it looks like 2 more. Three more? Okay, and then we'll go to our last question.
We can go quick, yeah. Something not as crazy as what they've talked about, but in Pastor K's class, we got in all kinds of shenanigans. But I remember a lot of the time, he told us one time, we were doing the Old Testament, and he said, if you make a rap of the Old Testament, you'll be out of your test. So then Joel over here makes a rap. He does this nice little rap. He just sings it